Yes. Okay. Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is Ric Wee here. Together with my two buddies, James and Julian. We are on the ball today. This is episode 2 of our show. Um, Let me just try to share this on my pages first. Hang on. So how are you guys? James, Julian, morning. How are you guys?
All good.
All very good.
Happy that it's weekend.
Yeah, it was a long week this week for me. I don't know about you guys, but it was a really busy week. I'm not really complaining. Better busy than not busy.
I know what you
Absolutely.
mean,
Busy is good these days. As we're all stuck in the COVID situation still, I think everyone is kind of slowly, all the markets are slowly coming out of it. Other markets are more open than others, but here where we are, still opening up slowly. So we're happy to be busy at this moment.
Yeah, nice to be busy. So, Julian, are you happy with the results on the Premier League yesterday?
As we're all stuck.
What do you think?
In the COVID situation,
what do you
still,
think?
I think everyone
not in the slightest. I mean, just watching
other markets are more
all the news reports, reading any website, watching any social media, and it's just covered in red.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Hey guys, sorry. One of you need to switch off your mobile phone because I can hear the feedback from Facebook. Sorry. Both of you. Yeah. Just switch off your.
Yeah, that's me. I've done it. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah. So you were saying, Julian, everywhere you're going, you see red jerseys.
Oh, everywhere in Malaysia, everyone's got a red jersey. You look on Facebook, it's full of it. Instagram's full of it. Twitter, it's full of it. I've avoided them for the last couple of days. But hey, fair play to the dirty red SH. Well done. It has to be said, you do deserve it. So fair play.
Yeah,
got a lot of friends over there at Liverpool. So Jonathan Kane and group, congratulations on a great season, even though it was a bit delayed. But well done, Liverpool.
And you actually think he's watching this?
He may very well be.
Yeah, of course he is.
Well, to me, Julian and James, of course, Julian will kind of feel this more because he's a local boy. I'm wearing the only red shirt that matters in sports, which is the Ferrari shirt.
Yeah, it's probably the only acceptable one. or Wales, if you're a Welsh fan. You can't change your colour if you're your country anyway, can you?
Yeah, but putting aside our rivalry, obviously two of us are being Evertonians and James being a neutral soccer fan. To me, we have some really great football teams around the last 2 decades. We got the Arsenal, invincible. Pain for me to say, but Manchester United has been dominating the Premier League for so long. And this year's, the last 4 years, Man City's team has been super duper powerful. And this year, this season, we got to say that our neighbors, they were really, really effective. Good football. Yeah. Well done to them. Yeah.
Yeah, fair play.
And they kind of the way they dominated this season reminded me of the way Everton dominated the English Division 1 in 1985 and 1987. And of course, in 86 we were very, very good, but we went up against a very powerful Liverpool team, and we were double.
It was a very lucky Liverpool team. It was 2 games we would have won the double in this shirt, but it was just 2 games. We messed up against Oxford.
Yeah, I remember Oxford.
Messed up one. We should have. Oxford were near the bottom, and we messed up. And then in obviously the final, they beat us fair and square. But even still, such is life. Yeah. Such is life. But you know what amazes me is how, of course, I keep reading. Oh, it's the best team of all time. Come on, it's the recent team of all time. It's not the best.
That's a great question, actually. I mean, we should. I think it's a great topic for another day, like best teams of all time and things. But how do you know they're not the best team of all time? Why would you say they're not the best team of all time? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, correct.
It's because it's close in their mind. Let's look back in a couple of years, and then we can decide whether they are the best year of all time.
Yeah.
It's like when in 1970, when Everton won it, everyone said they were the best team in the world all time. They weren't. They were a good side. They had a good team. And the same. You've got to really look back and compare it with history. With I don't know, with a clear view rather than a jaundiced view, which is like I saw it last week, therefore they are the best. I mean, who's to say that the 1930 winning team was the best? We don't know. We never do it. But we can only talk about
it's 100% conjecture. So, but one day we should conjecture one day and debate about that. I think that'd be a fun one to have.
Yeah, indeed.
Good idea, Mr. Sensible.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the episode 2 of On the Ball. This show is really.
Should I do the music again? Oh. Okay. All right.
So, really, to our current viewers, which log in, thank you very much. You could be anywhere else on Saturday morning, and you choose to go through this torture of watching 3 guys talking about sports. But really, this is what it is. 3 of us are friends. We end up talking about sports all the time. So we thought, what the hell? Let's just do this for fun. 3 people, nothing to do with any major television or major podcasts, just for the fun of it, talk about sports. So just a quick background. As you know, many of you know, I'm actually a Malaysian lawyer. And then James and Julian are partners in a company called Resort X Asia. They are a sports-based company, hence why the 3 of us are interested in sports. As many of you know, I like sports very much. So for today's topic, we are going to talk about what's happening around the world now, because we have these sports leagues starting again, resuming all over the Korean Football League. And in America, one by one of the sports leagues are resuming. And we want to have a chat about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, for example, playing in an empty stadium, and those who are viewing the game from the TV, the artificial crowd sound which comes on. We're going to have a chat about that. And then at the later part of the show, we will have this chat about the best and worst sports jerseys. We have some really horrible jerseys to talk about. And of course, Julian is wearing what he thinks is the best jersey in the world. But we have some comments there. Yeah, hang on, James. The bucket is next door. Yeah. So okay, without further ado, I'm going to put my 2 friends and I'm going to add my comments. Once again, I act as the moderator for the show. So for now, I'm going to start off with James first. Speaking to us Malaysians here, most of the viewers are Malaysians. We don't know much about American sports except maybe the NBA and the NFL. What's happening in America now, James? And then any league resuming and what is happening there? All yours, James.
Sure. Obviously, in the U.S., the professional structure is a little bit different, with having franchise-based businesses owning the teams. And in certain leagues, there are rules that help them to start up much faster than others. And maybe I start with some of the good examples. The NBA will be starting up very, very soon, and they're basically going to play in 8 more games. They played most of their season already, so they're going to play 8 more games. They've cut out 10 teams, the bottom 10 teams. Basically said you got no chance, so we're not even going to bring you back into the second part of this conclusion of the season. And then they're going to go straight to the playoffs. They're expanding the number of playoff teams to 16. So basically, it's a glorified playoff tournament, which I think is a great idea. And every team is going to go down to Orlando, Florida, and play at Disney World, the Disney World Sports Complex.
I see.
And Disney World is really happy, I think, because also the Major League Soccer, which will be starting up in a very short period, is going to have a World Cup-like tournament, also at Disney World Sports Complex. So Disney World Sports Complex is making out like a bandit here. All the teams are going to be staying in the hotels, eating on the premises, and basically confining themselves there with no fans, no spectators. But basically, it's an easy way to contain everybody and to make sure that the COVID doesn't seep in, hopefully. So I think that's a really good example of an idea of how teams give up their home court advantage, and in the just to be able to finish the season and to make sure that they're playing the games.
I mean, Jim, here's a question for you, mate. If you're a team that's close to the playoffs, or maybe close, because there's no relegation, so let's just say close to the playoffs, right? And you're giving up your home corner advantage. Maybe there's another team with maybe one more win than you have, or whatever. Would you feel, I mean, if you're a fan of that team that's close but not quite, would you feel a bit hard done to because you haven't got your home court advantage? Because say maybe you had a few games that were going to be, most of the games were going to be played at home.
Yeah, luckily the way they do it, it's pretty. At this point of the season, each team has an equal amount of home and away games left. So they basically cut out teams that had no chance of, with let's say with 8 games remaining, no mathematical chance of making the playoffs. So the rest of the teams all have a chance. They all have an equal playing field because they're all playing in a neutral court. So I think, I mean, obviously, what if you could go to a game in a home, if I had tickets, season tickets to that game, I would definitely be upset. But I'd still rather watch my team on TV, and I think teams have an equal playing field.
Are the teams? Are they sort of recompense? Is that a word? Yeah, recompensing, or basically giving them some compensation.
Compensation, yeah.
There's no compensation. It's all losses for the broadcasters, for the teams. It's
even the fans. The fans say like, "Good luck." You're not
fans, season ticket holders. Yeah. What a lot of the teams are doing are giving them extra games in next season, so they're pushing it into the next season because they've already paid. But so they're saying, we'll give you credit into next season for the games that you're missing this season.
Are they also offering refunds? Because the reason I'm saying this because what they did at the in the Premier League, or some clubs like Everton, for example, that I know, they offered either a refund, next season, or you could give that extra money that you're to charity. And I think about 50,000 people gave it to charity, which was pretty impressive. Maybe not 50, it was about 30,000. A few number of people who gave it to charity, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Do they give you an option in the States, or is it just like
I haven't seen that. I'm not saying that it's not being offered, but most are just postponing or giving credit into a future season. So
fair enough.
Well, personally, my take on this is that, the same will apply when we talk about, let's say, football, soccer, football. That the changing of the rule is weird because, like the English Premier League, now we have 5 substitutes. So we have basically changed the rule of the game midway through the season, which is very, very wrong in my view. It's legally wrong. You don't change the rules midway through. So what was offside yesterday is onside today, for example. So the earlier games when some of the team were going through a massive injury and they could only put in 3 substitutes in the game. How is that fair to that team now?
Yeah. So why did they change that rule? Maybe you can give us some background as to why, and then we can each decide if it was fair.
Yeah, I'm not very sure actually. But hang on, before that, Julian, what do you think about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the change of the league before we go on into this?
Okay. Well, I'll answer that question that James just asked. It's because, and I think you alluded to it when we talked the other day, Jim. It's because there's a much higher chance of injury with so much time off. That sort of sports scientists are saying that there's going to be more chance of injury, and we've seen this already. There's a bunch of people that have got players that have got injured, certainly in the football leagues, that maybe they wouldn't have got injured if the teams were playing, continuously. So I think that's why they're offering more subs.
So do you think that's fair then?
Not really, but it is what it is. I mean, we're in a world that's not fair right now. If you got COVID, that's not fair. So look, human beings have to adapt to the situation they're in. Yes, it's great to have rules, and I get Ric's ideas. I get your thought, Jim. But and I'm not saying I agree with them all, but we're in a world that's different than it's always been. So you've got to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think offering additional substitutions when players are more prone to be injured, I don't see anything wrong with it. But I mean, it's just a matter of perspective. But that's my opinion. Just in terms of some of the ugly in the U.S. side, and these are all interesting topics, I think, related to the startup of the game. But on the ugly side, we've seen Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, just to give you an idea, doesn't have a salary cap. So all the other sports in the U.S. have a salary cap, which kind of governs how players need to play for a team and how teams can manage the costs of those players. So basically, in Major League Baseball, the players and the teams have not agreed on how much they should get paid. The players should get paid for the remaining games, how many games they should play, because they don't have that salary cap in place, and the legal parameters are not there. So because those are in place in NBA, Major League Soccer, NHL, those leagues have quickly resumed and agreed on how many games, etc. So I think that shows the downside of not having a salary cap. And also it shows a bit the ugly side of the greed in sport, so that's one ugly element. The last ugly element I want to talk about is tennis, where Novak Djokovic and three of his buddies who had decided to play their own little mini tour in Serbia. They were playing 3 or 4 events, even when everybody else was shut down. They felt like they wanted to start up on their own. And because they, maybe didn't adhere to the strict health issues or whatever it would be, 4 of them have come down now with COVID, and they're all apologizing to the world of tennis and the world of sports, saying that they were irresponsible, etc. But I think when you go against what your sport wants you to do, and when you go against, you just do what you feel is right, as opposed to what the health officials are saying and what your sport is saying. That the ugly side of things can pop up. So I think those are 2 negative examples.
No, that's a good point. That's a very good point. But for me, probably the worst part of what's happened since post-COVID opening up is how boring are the games. Oh,
yep.
God. I've stayed up a couple of times to watch some late night games, and I'm not joking. I have been bored crapless. I mean, you know what it's like? It's like the early rounds of the World Cup when people are sort of like testing out, seeing how they go. Certainly very few of the games that have been really thrilling and exciting. It's a lack of urgency a little bit, a lack of maybe the crowd pushing them on. I think I was watching the Everton-Liverpool game, or it might have been the Everton or whatever it was. And one of the players was saying that when you're playing, you've got the crowd making you run a little harder. Go on, get after him, run further, make that ball, make that tackle, whatever it is, man on or whatever. And so there's that sort of feeling of adrenaline being thrown, and you're being urged on by the crowd. And when you haven't got that, you take your time. You relax a little bit. And so we're seeing much lower tempo games. I mean, it's great if you're one of the players that the supporters used to get on the backs of. If you're one of those players that they're always in your ear going, "You're crap, you're not good enough to wear the shirt," and all that sort of thing, then I'm sure those players might start playing a bit better. But I think just the intensity of games has been crap.
Yep. Yeah, I would totally agree with you that the games have been slow to get back to the quality that we're used to. And it would have been, I think, beneficial if they had a few practice matches before they went straight back in. But maybe they felt they just didn't have time to do that. But anyway, I can definitely attest to the fact that fans can buoy your performance. But I mean, most athletes are used to playing pickup games. They're used to playing against, and I don't know. I just find that as an excuse. I mean, the NBA players, all these other guys are also saying the same thing, that they don't want to play in front of empty stadiums.
Yeah.
But when they get out there and their juices get flowing, I don't know. I just feel like that's an excuse. But when the players themselves are saying it, but the games, absolutely, I agree with you, are slow to get back to the quality that they were at. And let's hope that maybe the Bundesliga is a little bit ahead, so those games might be more interesting, but nobody really cares as much about the Bundesliga.
Yeah, you're not going to get interesting Bundesliga games. I'm lying. There's a few, but the first few Bundesliga, first time in my life I got excited watching a Bundesliga game. And I really wanted to get excited. I stupidly decided that Schalke were going to be my team because they played in blue and they're playing for bad move. They've been rubbish.
They haven't won a game since they started up again. They haven't
been absolutely pants. But
hey Rick, what do you think about the quality of the games and things like this, and or on the downside in the U.S., like how the legal side of salary structures and players and how that affects people coming back or the leagues coming back?
Well, good question, James. But I must first confess, I've not really seen any American-based sports on TV yet. Yeah, so that was why I was very keen to listen to you, because I know you have the American sports close to your heart.
Wow, so keen to listen to Jim. Woohoo!
So then, but when it comes to for example, the salary aspects, I think most sports for football, for example, the salaries of the players are of course not affected. They're all paid. Some of them took a pay cut around the world. Most of it are voluntary. But these are all the top division. The lower division clubs, I think many of the players, there's no salary. Because the clubs are in trouble. Yeah. So we can't just base on the league. Because we respect some of our football fans, especially in Malaysia. They only see what's in the Premier League and they think that the whole world is based on the Premier League. They forgot that there are teams from Leyton Orient, Preston North End, who's been there for 100 years, but they are unfortunately in Division 2, Division 3. They are suffering.
I think we'll see a few clubs go under. I mean, I don't think there was any doubt about that. By the end of the year, you're going to see clubs they can't recover from what's happened. Hey, what about Jim? Just going back to America again. Certainly the stuff I've been reading in the last couple of days and how there's been a huge upturn and a huge up spike of COVID cases in America. I mean, is there a thought, or has there been talk about, hey, hang on, this is actually not as good as we thought it was going to be? It's been a little bit under control in Asia. It's a little bit under control in Europe, not massively, but it's in America. We're seeing that sort of a huge uptick of cases. Is there any talk in the States about oh, hang on, maybe we shouldn't be doing this just yet?
Well, I think what basketball and Major League Soccer are doing, going to one venue and kind of cloistering themselves, that will help. Ice hockey, NHL has chosen one venue in the East and one venue in the West. They're only going to play in 2 cities. Baseball was thinking about playing all their games in Arizona, but then they said, okay, no, let's go back to home and away. But I think given this explosion again, or a second wave, whatever you want to call it, they might then consider playing all their games in one city also. So I think it will change what they're thinking, but it will probably push them towards a single venue or 2 venues, but they want to continue, I think.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But
actually, I must say it's good because I don't have access to the internal tournament rules. It would be very interesting for any sports solicitor to go through and see, as I said earlier, can they change the rule midway through the season? I'm still not sure about that actually. But
why don't you do in between this week and next week's show? First thing we talk about next week, you do some research. Obviously, it's happened, so I presume that it's possible. But let us know the legal opinion from Ric Wee Chambers on that one. That would be really interesting. We're all interested to know that. And secondly, also, I'm curious if a team goes bankrupt in European leagues or in the English football structure, what then happens if it goes bankrupt mid-season, for instance? What happens to the rest of the teams, and how does that affect the league structure?
Yeah.
Usually when that happens, if I can speak from the English perspective first, because Malaysian law is similar to English law, so I can't speak for Hungarian or Italian law yet. But the moment a sports club, which is of course a company, and they go down, then the laws of liquidation takes over. And when the laws of liquidation takes over, the assets and whatever goes away, and the players technically is an asset of the team, of the club. So that is one issue to deal with. The second issue, of course, is the obvious one, is the league. So if midway through, let's say your team was hypothetically on top of the league and 20 points ahead of the second team, and then suddenly you went down. So does it mean the second team becomes the champion? It is untested. is untested. We have not had a situation where midway through the season, the team bankrupts. Yeah, we haven't had that.
Yeah, we had Barry just recently go out of business, and that was before the season. So that sort of made it a little bit easier. But yeah, you're right. I can't remember what's happened mid-season. I'm sure that
way back in the old days of the NFL, back in like the 50s, 40s, 50s. See, every season there would be new teams from different cities, and a couple. I think the Dallas team in the 1950s, like after they had an 8-game season, after 3 games they couldn't pay their players, and they just stopped, like in the middle of the season. So it's definitely happened in some leagues around the world. But
oh my God,
I'll look into that as well and see how they continued or what they did with the rest of their games. But that's an interesting question. I certainly hope we never have to deal with that. But it's interesting to know what happens.
I guess then we will. I think we're going to see this happening a little bit more.
Yeah, but it's almost 11:30, so we're going to try and wrap up this part of the talk. I agree with Julian that the games are boring. There's no intensity. I can only imagine how boring it is for the soccer players, the football players. Even the Korean league that I watched recently, it really felt like a game at the park at PJ, where 2 teams are playing. But
quick poll, guys. Noise piped in. The supporters' noise piped in. 4 or against? For me, 4.
Yeah. I'm against it, Julian.
What?
Yeah, I find it artificial, and like the other day when Everton was playing Liverpool, midway through, I don't know whether you realize, Julian, midway through that game, whoever who was broadcasting it to Malaysia reduced the sound. I could actually hear Tom Davies shouting. Before that, it was loud, but even against Norwich, same thing. Against Norwich, when Everton played Norwich at Carrow Road, same thing. They was very loud in the first 5 minutes, and then it just went quiet, and I could hear Ancelotti shouting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it piped only onto the TV, or is it piped actually into the stadium as well?
On the TV, only on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. On the TV, yeah.
Apparently, I didn't see it, but I read about it. Bernd Leno, the Arsenal goalkeeper, tore his ACL, and apparently because they didn't turn up the crowd noise, his scream was absolutely horrific, and you heard all the players going, "Oh my god," and all the reaction. So in cases like that, I think I'd want to hear the crowd.
You want to hear the noise, yeah. I know, yeah.
Right.
But to me, I'm not trying to be, being in the middle path, but I genuinely don't mind some sound. But I find it really weird. Like, for example, if someone tackles an Everton player at Goodison Park, and then you hear people cheering. So obviously the person who's playing the sound forgot that you're in Goodison Park, and no one's going to cheer if our player is getting...
Without the sound, it just sounds like a training match. And
unfortunately,
my brain says training match, don't get interested, don't get excited.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they score, nice. Whereas the crowd noise, because they have a sort of a button they push that when someone does score, there's a sort of whereas you get excited like that, helps you, particularly if you're second screening, you got your phone and you're like this and you hear the noise, then you watch even more the game.
But the example that James gave about Djokovic, the funny thing was, I was thinking of all the major European and American sports to take office, other than, of course, football in Europe. But I was thinking we should start off with tennis and golf with no crowd. So if you ask my opinion 1 month ago, what would you start first in the world to kickstart the TV viewership of sports for individual sports? I would have gone with tennis and golf. And then suddenly Djokovic got positive.
Just a little bit of background on that. I think the PGA Tour is moving forward because almost all the events are in the U.S. So you don't have to travel internationally. And whenever you play an individual sport, Julian and I have been dealing with BWF, ITTF, various sports recently, and whenever you have to travel internationally, some of the borders are not open yet. If you can't offer your tournament to all players on the rankings, should you play? There's a lot of questions, right? So the ATP and WTA have taken longer to start because the tournaments are all over the world and people have to travel. Whereas the PGA Tour is a US PGA Tour and all the events are in one country. So I think it depends on an individual event where the events are held. If they're all held in one continent, like in Europe, or if they're all held in one country, then much easier to start up than it is if your events are held all around the world.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those who are locked in, thank you very much. This is On the Ball with James, Julian, and myself, Ric Wee. Today's topic of discussion is about the sports leagues post-COVID-19. Many leagues are resuming, and I'm not just talking about football. I think some fans, the whole life is just about football. There are other games. It's called basketball, volleyball, tennis,
Right.
etc. Yeah. So far, the panelists and myself have shared how boring the games are, how rules have suddenly changed, some questions whether it's legitimate, interesting input from James on what's happening in America, how they're restarting the league, putting everybody in one area and having a tournament. Julian, I think they're going to do the same thing for the Champions League, for football Champions League. I understand they're going to do the same thing. Benfica.
I like that idea. It contains things. It means that you're not getting it. Pockets are all around the countries or in different locations. It's like it contains in one location. I think that's the wise move.
Yeah.
Should we move? I'm bored about this already. Should we move on? Stop it.
I'm going to move on to the next one, which is an exciting topic. But before that, I think seeing what all the video shots of what's happening in the city of Liverpool and someone shooting fireworks at our building, and I think Liverpool will get a new COVID-19 attack.
You might be right, mate. I think you might be right.
But to be fair, Julian can't blame the fans. I mean, especially when you have not won for 30 years, you'll be excited. So, but you got to be just a bit more responsible then. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, for the next topic, we are going to try and talk about sports jerseys. So this is what we all like. All three of us are football jerseys freak. Hang on, we have got some comments on Facebook. I think these are commented on my personal page. A friend of mine, Professor Kong Kok Wai, says that the sound is only on TV. Yes, Kok Wai, the sound is only on TV, on the stadiums. And then Brendan, our Everton supporter, Julian, he was last week with us. He said that we haven't started the bowling league yet. The bowling league in Malaysia haven't started yet. Yeah. Okay. Football, sports jerseys. Okay. So when we talk about jerseys, Julian, let's start with you first, Julian. What comes to your mind before I go to James? What is your ideal jersey?
Simple. Just it doesn't need to have bells and whistles on it. And there's one of the ones that I'm going to show in a minute that's got far too many bells and whistles on. But generally simple. Not so much. I'm not a big pattern man. I'm not big into patterns. I generally think they don't age well. So you want to see a kit that will be timeless. I'm a big football kit fan and an aficionado, and I know you are as well, Rick. But you want something that is going to look good in 20 years' time. And that what we just saw there. I mean, we can talk about that if you want to put that one back up, Jim.
Okay, hang on. I'm just trying to go through.
This is one of James's favorite kits.
No, I'll go your one first.
Go on then.
Yeah. What about this one? Hang on. Sorry, mate.
It's all right.
Yeah.
See, look at that. I'm actually a bit of a big fan of French National League team jerseys. I have a bunch of them. In fact, if you look there, that Adidas sort of box in my shelf there, that was some French historical jerseys that I bought. It was a special edition. But this one from 1982 World Cup, the team of Tigana, Platini, Gires, Fernandez, which was just beautiful to watch. But also the kit is just so, it's of a time. It's of that 1984, made by Adidas with the old trefoil logo. Big fan of that. Always wanted that kit. The shirt I was wearing last week was the one after this kit, which was a little bit later. But this kit here, it was just tight shorts, pinstripe shorts. I love it. It's just, I don't know, it's of a time. It's very, but then, I said earlier on about timeless classics. Would that work today? I don't know, but I think it just reminds me of my youth and how exotic the French looked. And I have some French blood in me, which is why I sort of.
But it is indeed a simple jersey, isn't it? It's very simple design. Yeah, simple design. But what about you, James? Let's start with you. When you think of I think in US it's called a uniform, right? A uniform. So
in the US we have throwbacks in almost every sport now. So for certain games in certain weeks, all the teams will wear like a uniform from 40 years ago or something. So they actually try to bring those back and remind people of what the old uniforms look like. So I think that's cool that they pay homage to the old ones. But to me, the uniform reminds me of a team of that particular year. And I think from the business side, we probably were the ones first who came up with the idea that if the uniforms are different every year, people are going to buy them every year, different ones. If they're the same every year, you can wear one from 4 years ago to the game, and it doesn't matter. But I think the teams got smart, and so here you see Gary Coleman from the 1977 San Diego Padres. He's the bat boy, which is basically a position that usually is given to a volunteer youth to pick up the bats after the players drop them. And so Gary is wearing one of my favorite uniforms. That's right. But yeah, so the uniform to me reminds me of that team, the team of that time, and what they did, which players were on that team. And like the one that I didn't choose was, and a simple one that Julian I think would have liked, was the Los Angeles Raiders, the Oakland Raiders back then, the black and silver. They were mean. They were tough and mean. And if they had, light blue uniforms like the Houston Oilers did, they wouldn't have looked so tough and mean, And I just think that sometimes simplicity is good. But here you see the 92 Dream Team. And again, it's a simple uniform, but to me, that uniform reminds me of Jordan, Bird, Magic, all these guys. Just the best basketball team ever assembled. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a fantastic team, isn't it? Dream Team. Wasn't this Dream Team number 1?
This was the Dream Team, and the original Dream Team. So basically, it's the Dream Team and Christian Laettner. Nobody knows why he was on that team, but.
Where's Jordan? Oh, is he number 9?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan next to the coach, next to Daly there. Guy right behind. Guy right behind Jordan was the only college player. The white dude behind Jordan, Christian Laettner, only college player on the team. And the 11th player, and literally in practice, they would divide up into 2 teams of 5, and he would just sit and watch everyone else play.
Yeah. My favorite basketball player is Larry Bird. He's my all-time favorite, Larry Bird, until now.
Yeah, he's an awesome player. One of the best of all time, for sure.
Yeah, the legend of the 80s.
Do you guys call players GOATs in Europe now? Greatest of all time?
Yeah.
With and Ronaldo, they're always goating.
Yeah. In Malaysia, our GOAT is Nicole Davids.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. That girl deserves way more than she ever publicity and money and fame than she ever got. That girl was brilliant.
Best ever squash player. It's going to be it's going to take a Herculean task to beat her record.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. Rick, what else we got next?
Okay, hang on. I'm going to let's
yours,
go. Well,
we never up, so throw it up there.
What about this one? Nah, not this one. Sorry. Apologize. What about this one? Hang on.
We're hanging.
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
It's the same one. I apologize.
Rick, what's going on?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not a technical man. Hang on. Let me get this. What about this one? Yeah. What about this? What's your comment about this? The Timberwolves.
Ooh, nasty. I think this is one of the ugliest uniforms I've ever seen. It looks kind of like the Flintstones meet Jurassic Park, but a Timberwolf. But a Timberwolf wasn't. It's a regular animal. It's not a dinosaur. Like this should be for the Raptors or something like that. Anyway, Kevin Garnett, Sam Cassell, and I forget the Latrell Sprewell, the other player. Yeah, they're probably regretting posting for the biggest.
Not bad. That's not that. I've seen way better.
Sports magazine and those nasty outfits. I'd rather be simple than try to be clever, and it turns out like that.
I've seen way worse. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's a classic by any stretch, but I've seen way worse, mate.
Well, we might just see way worse in a minute here.
Well, I like this one. This is my favorite. And Hullet, yeah. I love the jersey.
No, that's one that everyone says. That and the 86 Denmark kit done by Hummel. Everyone says they're in their top three, and I don't see it. You know, see, I love the old Adidas 1978 Holland kit. That was a cracker. Orange and black. That just looks so classic. This for me, too much pattern for me.
Is this yours, Rick? You like this one, Rick?
Yeah, because it was in 1988. For that time, it revolutionized how jerseys look like. Before that, all jerseys was just plain, like this shirt, just plain, you know. Maybe some pinstripes like the 1982 French football jersey. But after this jersey, in the 1990s, you see Manchester United having a jersey with an embedded Old Trafford into their shirt. Then Everton had a jersey with an embedded logo into it. So the technology of jerseys changed, and I always credit the jerseys around this era, which kind of changed. And I like the design, the shape, because it gave it a very unique, colorful design of that era. And until now,
I think this also ushered into the era of just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Thank you, James. I'm glad you think the same way.
I like this one. But I think we'll see a few of the other examples of what I was talking about.
Fire them up, mate. Let's get some quick fire.
Hang on. Let me try and find these other ones. Well, this is something I feel is really, really ugly. And this is Atletico Bilbao. I'm not sure what you're trying to prove here.
I like that. You know, I've seen that before, and I like it. I think it's a little bit okay. Look, I wouldn't want Everton to wear anything like that. I've seen way worse.
Looks like somebody threw up their pasta, their bolognese, on his white shirt.
Yeah.
Wait, what about this one? Hang on, I'm going to try this one. It's a soccer jersey, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this share screen. There's so many pictures to share. Hang on. Sorry, mate. Hang on.
I think we're gonna have to sack you as our technology guru.
Yeah.
We have to take over the mantle.
Oh my God, where is that? I'm trying to find this jersey. Hang on, guys.
I can play some music while we're.
This is everybody. This is our new theme music that we found.
Yeah, play it.
Yeah, I think we definitely need it, given all we can see is Rick looking confused.
Give me a second, guys. Hang on. I'm going to try and do something here.
Waiting music.
Okay. All right. Hang on. Okay, I found some of it now. Okay, because it's like really confusing.
We know our homework for next week.
This one. Yes, this one.
Can you the best and worst sports jersey thing? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so you see the tassels? You see those tassels?
That's the away kit, which wasn't as bad as the home kit. Look, this one, it's too many bells and whistles. Look at that tassels.
But the tackles actually hurt other players. So like when you're rubbing up against players, jumping in, when they would tackle, those tassels actually hurt themselves and the other players. You're danger.
That's nasty. That is super nasty.
And imagine them walking out with their cowboy hats. They actually when they did the player lineups, they wore 10-gallon hats. These guys are the Colorado. What was the team? Colorado something.
Yeah.
Colorado. Something. Yeah, it's a soccer team
from the old. What was it? The major, not Major League Soccer, was the league before that, but NASL. That's right, North American Soccer League. Those were the days.
Colorado Caribous.
Colorado Caribous.
What about this?
The sick jersey for Norwich City, 1992. Look at how nasty that is. It looks like someone's been sick on your shirt, or you're rolling around in the grass. Made by a company called Ribeiro, which no one's ever heard of. They used to make a lot of shirts from for the lower league teams, and it's like, if your team had a Ribeiro shirt, you were generally gutted, because they also made another shirt for, I think it was Southend or Northampton or something like that looked like a bus seat. You know how a bus seats have all these weird, crazy patterns on them so it doesn't show up stains? Well, that's what the shirt looked like. It was horrible. Yeah, if you were a football fan, you'd never wanted a Ribeiro shirt. You wanted an Adidas, you wanted a Nike, a Lacoste Sportif, or a Puma. You did not want Ribeiro, and that was one of the worst I've seen.
Well, to me, the only thing worse than a yellow jersey is a green jersey, and they had both in that jersey. So,
or even brown.
What do you guys think about this one?
Can you move that up a little bit? Move the
unfortunately, hang on. Let me just take this away.
Yeah, just take away that. Because it used to go through to the shorts. Admiral Kits, they revolutionized kit manufacturing. There's a great documentary about Admiral and how a small company from Bradford turned into this huge company that was making kits for everyone. But this one here was brown. I mean, the actual design, which was so cool at the time, and you had Coventry, Wales, and a few other teams that had this sort of tram lines running through, going to the shorts, but you should not make kits in brown. I think it's fairly obvious. And you don't need players with big ginger afros and a brown kit. It's not a good look, is it?
I think ginger, the only color ginger goes with is brown. So,
yeah, possibly.
Who is this player, Julian? Do you recognize this player?
Yeah, I do know. And for the life of me, because I'm old, I've instantly forgot. Ian Wallace. There you go. Ian Wallace.
So it's Ian Wallace.
Moved for about £1 million to Nottingham Forest soon after this.
Okay, all right.
Did nothing for them.
No, but that was a real good choice of an ugly jersey. It's really ugly. Then we have some comments here about what about the sleeveless Cameroon's jersey? Do you remember the jersey? Yeah,
I love that.
Hang on, I found it. Hang on here. I found it. I'm going to try and share it.
We're doing a lot of hanging on, mate.
Yeah, I know. Today, hold on tight. Technical problem here. Hang on. Is it this one?
I don't think it's technical.
No, not this one. Not this one. It's the problem is when you look for the jersey and you want to try and share the screen.
No one cares, Rick.
Bad day on the screen.
I'm being mean today. Sorry, buddy. I'm being mean.
Hang on. Footy headlines. As I said, hang on. My favorite word today. Hang on. Footy head. Where is this one? Is it this one?
I don't know.
Yeah. There you can see this. You look at this jersey. This. Yeah.
That's a bunker.
Yeah. Look at this. It's sleeveless.
But it was banned by FIFA, didn't it? They banned it.
Yeah, they banned it, and then they were forced to wear it. They added in some cloth at the side here.
That's right, yeah.
That's Puma. That's a Puma shirt.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was a little bit different. It broke the mold, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, and I want to thank Faisal, who's a Singaporean who logged on to watch. He commented about the Cameroon sleeveless. Thanks, Faisal. Then
what else have we got, Rick?
Hang on, I'm trying to find what you were mentioning about Oakland Raiders, right, just now?
Yeah, well, you can throw anything up, any of the ones that we sent over.
Yeah, we're keeping the listeners waiting. Or watchers.
we've got this one. But I like this one. This is my favorite. Another one of my favorite. Of course, being an Evertonian, I like this. It's nice and clean, and I like the top. Well, some people call it orange color at the top of this. It's
Amber,
nice and
yeah.
clean. Yeah, amber. That's the word. Yeah, amber color. Yeah, that's nice. It's clean. And then, do you have this jersey, Julian?
I don't actually. I wouldn't mind it. I'll be honest with you. I like it.
Yeah, it's nice. Hang on. And then another one more that you guys asked for was this Auckland. You mentioned about Auckland. Is this shirt?
Yeah, the black one, the black and
The
silver
one? Yeah. This one. Yes, this one. Right.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
Is this their home uniform? Black.
Yeah.
Well, they switch between dark and white being home and away, but that's their most menacing is the black, because they had a really mean, nasty team. So no better color for a nasty team than black.
Well, they now aren't they supposed to move, James?
They moved to Las Vegas, so they're probably in the best city that they could ever be in. Vegas has built a stadium for them, and they always bounced around between Oakland and Los Angeles. So now they got a home in Las Vegas, where I'm sure the players won't be distracted at all by living locally in that city whatsoever.
Well, last one. Let me try and show one more.
Loads. Loads more.
Loads more, right? Wait, hang on.
James, we've got to sack Rick. What's going on?
I got to tender my resignation, lah. Yeah, hang on. It's a challenge to find this over here, lah. Man. Hang on. Yeah, wait, hang on. What were the other jerseys you mentioned? Let me find it. It's disappeared from my tab.
My goodness.
All right, Jim, you go mention some of yours.
Well, I definitely saw one that was from the Memphis Redbirds.
Yes, Memphis, yeah.
Which is a minor league baseball team, and for some reason they came up with some crazy. It looked like they have basically like a Polynesian luau happening around the neck.
Wasn't it Egyptian hieroglyphics?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe because Memphis, I don't know, but Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis with that ugly jersey, right? Hang on, yep. And I found a Fiorentina one, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah, coming. Sorry. Yeah. As you can see, I'm trained to be a lawyer, not a technical guy. So must train. Yeah, he's the one.
He's a much better lawyer than he is technical guy. See, this jersey, I chose this. It's the 5th jersey from 2017-18 for Fiorentina in Italy. This was the jersey I would love Everton to have. It reminds me of a T-shirt I had when I was a kid in the 80s, but also it's simple. Has a little bit of detail on the sleeve and the neckline, but it's super simple. Great logos, love it. That's a beautiful shirt for me.
Yeah, in fact, our viewer, our listener, Brendan, our Everton friend, he found that Memphis jersey you're talking about. Hang on, I'm going to try and show it now. This is a bad day.
I think this shirt is quite boring myself, but simple can be good, but it can also be boring.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but as an Everton fan, if that had the Everton crest on it, maybe the blue a little bit darker, I'd snap that up.
What brand is that? What brand is that rooster thing?
Le Coq Sportif, the same as this, but updated logo.
Are they still using this jersey now?
They changed it. They've got new kits every year these days. I mean,
okay, so
that just tells you everything. That's the 5th kit. That's the 5th. I mean, you have 5 kits. I mean, when are you going to... They play in purple. They're not going to clash with anyone.
Well, would you have 5 of these? Would you make 5 different color variations of this?
Yeah, there they go. That's Egyptian hieroglyphics. That's nasty.
Look at the yellow thing. It looks like a corn dog, or I don't know what. These guys look like they're being forced to smile. If you pan out, there's a guy behind them with a gun saying you got to smile right now.
It's the corn dog and dog man kit.
Yeah, Anyway, I think this is probably one of the worst, ever in any
Without a
sport.
Yeah, it's quite bad actually. Yeah. So there's a thank you, Brendan, for sharing it with us. He was the one helping me to find it. But for some reason, I couldn't find it. Thanks, Brendan. Thank you. Then any other jerseys that you want? Just mention it. I'll find it.
No, just stick anything up you haven't stuck up already, and we'll talk about
Okay.
it.
Well, I actually everything went up really
If you have the Minnesota North Stars, let's say 1981 Minnesota North Stars, that's one of my favorites. And again, it's simple, but just like Julian said, sometimes I do like simple. So, but this is green, and I did earlier say that I don't like green, but that's mostly because I don't like the Green Bay Packers. But the Minnesota North Stars, who ended up moving to Dallas, the worst thing for an ice hockey fan is to take it straight out of ice hockey mecca and stick it down in the South where nobody knows anything about the sport. So I was gutted when they left, and we have people walk around with these North Stars jerseys on, even though our team now is called the Minnesota Wild. But we're growing up in the 70s and 80s. Your team, you'll never forget that team and the simple jersey. And basically, the one time that we went to the Stanley Cup was the year after. This is Gilles Meloche, our Quebecois goalkeeper. And we went to the Stanley Cup where we lost to the Islanders. The year after the Miracle on Ice, we got like 4 or 5 of the Miracle on Ice players to come onto the North Stars, and that team then went on to the only Stanley Cup which we lost. But anyway, there you go, simplicity.
Actually, green's another color that I had, which was the Zaire 1974 kit.
Oh yes,
I guess sometimes it can look. I did like that kit. Yeah.
It's on the WhatsApp, Rick, if you want to look there.
Yeah, I found it. It's coming up.
Okay. No, I mean, this one, if you see this when it comes up, how cool is it to have a picture of a leopard on your shirt? Not just like a puma or a Slazenger, whatever it is, but a huge sodding leopard. There you go. Look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, 1974. There are a bunch of guys who, to be honest, didn't really know the rules of football. If you ever watch, there's a famous free kick.
Yeah.
Where the guy, Google it, you'll see it. But it's just a great looking kit, and it's very rare. I mean, if you're into kits and you want to buy vintage kits, trying to find this one, it's like hen's teeth.
Wow.
And if you look at it, you look at the material that they were using to make this shirt, Julian, it looks like one of those old it is from the 1970s, the old which feels like a towel, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's called terry cloth, isn't it?
These sort of late 70s silky ones.
Terry cloth, or
not quite terry cloth, but it's like very thick t-shirt material.
Yeah, correct. Well, just nice. We are at 12 o'clock, 1 hour for our show. And my apologies for the technical error. It was just so many kits to find.
No worries, Rick. No worries, Rick.
Don't worry.
We'll make it better. After all, today, last week, we announced the new...
Jim, exactly.
So, last week, we announced our new Facebook page for this show. So we're on the Facebook On The Ball. And today, we introduced our theme song for the show. Yeah. So we'll come to the end for the show. Any last words, James and Julian, for today? James?
No, I love talking sports with you guys, and hope that everyone else enjoyed. And we definitely want to come back next week and with some new topics. Send us any topics that you want us to talk about. We're happy to do that as well.
And we love it when we see comments, when people making comments, because if you've got a question, we'll answer it. I mean, who cares about our answers probably, but either way, it's always a bit of fun to get interaction with people.
Yeah. We got a comment from our Everton friend, Brendan, says that we do need a technical co-host. I totally agree with you, Brendan. So next week, you're back on. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the show. We'll bring this to an end, and then we will end by not just saying on the ball, but with this very, very quirky electronic music base. All yours, James.
See you next weekend on the ball.
On the ball next week. See you.
Yeah.
Bye.